All right. So this is the part of the training where I really want you to get engaged if possible. So if you're able to, go ahead and you haven't turned on your video, go ahead and turn it on now. And this activities that we're going to be doing is going to help us to really get behind the eyes of our child. And that really helps you to apply what you're learning and just impacts you in a different way. So if you can turn on your video, and we're going to do a little warm up together. 1 second. There we go. So this is called the flip lid. And what I want you guys to do is just hold open your palm like so. And so the palm of your hand and down to your wrist actually can represent your brainstem. So this is the part of the fight, flight, or freeze part of your brain. And now you're going to fold your thumb over. And so your thumb represents the limbic system. So this is where you process emotions and store memories. And it's also where you have your safety radar, the amygdala. All right, so now you're going to fold your fingers over and you're making a fist now. And so your fist represents the cortex. And this part right here, the prefrontal cortex, this is the only place where rational thinking and emotional control takes place. So you have like regulation of emotions, regulation of interpersonal relationships, intuition, self-awareness, morality, and so much more. So when you get upset, you flip your lid. Okay, and you start acting from those old irrational emotions and fight or flight. So keep that in mind, because the point is not to never flip your lid. It's gonna happen. Obviously, we want to try to let it happen less and less, but the more important point is to not solve a problem or a conflict at the time when you have a flipped lid state, or your child when they have a flipped lid. Because I know a lot of times we think as parents, like, well, I got to deal with this issue right now, but it's not true. You don't. It would be so much better to take that break, allow your child to take a break and process some of your emotions, pray about it, and be calm. Give yourself a pause long enough to be calm and be aware of what you're feeling and thinking, and process that with God until you and your child are ready to find a solution together. So another tool, especially for influencing your child to listen to you without nagging and yelling, is to ask curiosity or motivational questions. So I need to have at least three volunteers, maybe more. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Real easy activity here. I am gonna give, well, let's see. Of you three, who would like to be the child? I need to have two parents and a child.
I can be a child.
Okay, Jacqueline's the child, thank you. And so Sarah and our other Jacqueline, Godby, you can be the parent. And we're gonna start with the telling parent. So what you can do is, Sarah, if you can, not yet, but I'll let you know what we're gonna do. You can read one of these sentences here. And then Jacqueline G, you can read the second one. And you guys can just alternate reading these sentences. And Jacqueline Darnell, as the child, you're just gonna listen to each of these phrases and you're gonna think about what you are thinking, feeling, and deciding. And I want the parents, you're also to be thinking this. What are you thinking, feeling, and deciding as you're going through this activity? And everyone watching, okay? All right, no worries, Hannah. We'll see you later. All right, so yeah, go ahead and get started. And like I said, Sarah, you can start with number one and then just alternate back and forth. Go ahead.
Okay, go brush your teeth or you'll have a mouthful of cavity.
Don't forget your coat.
Go to bed now.
Do your school.
Stop fighting with your brother.
Put your dishes in the dishwasher.
Hurry up and get dressed or you'll be late.
Stop whining. You're driving me crazy.
Pick up your toys or I'll give them to children who don't have any.
Okay, great job. Thank you, ladies. So we'll start with Jacqueline Darnell as the child. What were you thinking, feeling, and deciding from that activity?
I think just I was feeling very kind of powerless, I guess. Like I wasn't given a choice in any of it, and I wasn't really able to discuss my thoughts on the matter, so I wasn't able to kind of give my input. So I didn't really have a deciding factor. I just had to do what was being told or start a fight.
Good. Very good. So you felt powerless, and that some of the thoughts you were having was, I don't really have a choice. I just have to do it. Good. Okay. And how about Sarah? What were you thinking, feeling, and deciding?
What I was thinking is that I was kind of attacking a little bit. Not, I mean, I guess because they were read like one right after the other, but I did feel like I was attacking and kind of I was feeling a little guilty, threatening. So that's what was going through my mind as I was
Yeah.
reading.
Yeah. Feeling some guilt, thinking that you were being an attacking. And then what were you deciding from that?
I was sorry, what was I deciding?
Yeah.
Kind of, I guess, like when you had mentioned, following through with your punishment, like the one that said, like I'm gonna give your toys away, which is not a reasonable, because I'm not gonna do that, I wouldn't do that, but I'm guilty of having said that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I say that at least twice a week.
Such a good point on that related and reasonable consequences, that if you already know, I'm not going to actually follow through with that, just don't say it, right? It'd be better not to say it. And yeah, I've been there too. It's so hard not to, but good, great. All right, Jacqueline, what were you thinking, feeling, and deciding?
Yeah, I think those are things I all say in the same day. But yeah, I was thinking, that they're very short. They're not very personal. And if we want to show our kids respect, we can't just like bark orders at them. Like it was, I guess the shortness of it made me feel like it was like not respectful. And like Jacqueline said, as a child, like there's no choice in the matter. It's like, do it or else, and like it just sounds frustrating. And I think if somebody was saying that to me, I'd be like, excuse me? Can you say that a little nicer?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, great job, ladies. Thank you. I have one more, and now we can switch roles. So would anyone want to be the child this time? We have Sarah and Jacqueline who haven't done it yet as a child.
I will.
Oh, whichever.
Okay, Jacqueline, I think I heard you first. So Jacqueline, Godby, you can be the child, and
Okay.
we'll have Jacqueline, Darnell, and Sarah. So this time, Jacqueline, if you can start with number one and alternate that way. And again, just thinking about what you are thinking, feeling, and deciding. All right, so go ahead, Jacqueline.
What do you need to do so that your teeth will feel squeaky clean?
What will you wear so you will be warm outside?
What is next on your bedtime routine?
what is your plan for doing your schoolwork?
How can you and your brother solve this problem?
What did we decide at our family meeting to do with our dishes when we have finished eating?
What's your plan for being on time?
What word can you use? Sorry, I have my hand raised over the sentence. What word can you use? I can't see the rest of the sentence. I'm so
It just
sorry.
says, so I can hear you.
Oh, so like, okay, what words can you use so I can hear you?
And what is your responsibility when you're finished playing with your toys?
Good. All right. So with that, Jacqueline, as a child, get behind the eyes of a child, what were you thinking, feeling, and deciding?
Yeah, I guess like some of them putting them in a question, it gives the child time to like stop and think. It's not just like a do this and then you have like a reaction. And then there was a lot more choices involved with it, and almost like empowerment, like
Mhm.
giving them responsibility to do the right thing, or how do you think, like their thoughts are important, don't just do it this way, like how would you do it. It seems like it might build that relationship better to
Yeah,
talk like that.
that's great feedback. So you were feeling empowered, like you were important, and thinking like, okay, let me think about this and look for an answer, right? And so what were you deciding from that?
I think as a kid, I'd have the tools to do the thing that needs to be done. um and I imagine I'd probably feel good about it too.
Mhm. Great, great. Okay, Jacqueline, what were you thinking, feeling, and deciding?
For this one, I'm not just setting out my expectations, but I'm giving them the opportunity to learn. So we're not just raising children to, do our bidding for us, but we're raising them to be people later on. So by asking those questions, I'm teaching them the skills that they're going to need as they get older so they can make decisions for themselves. So I'm providing them that opportunity to learn. Feeling I'm feeling more open and allowing more positive communication between myself and the child, and deciding I'm giving them the freedom to choose what is happening and to think about the consequences to their actions.
Mhm. That's fantastic. That's great. Thank you. And then Sarah, what were you thinking, feeling, and deciding?
I was thinking that it was a very mature conversation, and because it was like an open-ended question, like it gives, like I was feeling like, okay, this is not going to be hostile. It's going to be, there's a pause there because the child now has the responsibility, which, if they're little, like mine are, I have 4 under 11, they get a sense of pride of getting to figure out what the right thing to do is, like somebody just said.
Yeah.
Um, and it kind of takes the pressure off of, okay, I don't have to decide, every little thing that happens. Like the decision, is now, you know, it, I mean, it's narrowed down. We know what the right decision is, but now it's in their, the ball's in their court and they get to decide, and they're, more likely to do the right thing. So.
Yeah. So putting some of that responsibility back on your child and giving them an opportunity, right? So great job, you guys. And if you, anyone else watching, if you want to put in the chat what you were thinking, feeling, and deciding from watching this exercise. I see Lorraine says she loves this exercise. And Melanie wants to see the phrases again. Absolutely. So let me go back a little bit. So these were the telling phrases. You can take a screenshot of it if you want to. And I know so many of us moms go, oh my goodness, I say this every day. So, and then the telling or the asking parent. So those are great examples of how to ask motivational questions. And Tej, she says, I love this exercise and feel convicted for sure because, hold on, it was blocked for a second. Because I'm pretty militant. I felt, oh yeah, yes, different, that style of parenting. Yes. And you want to practice this with your husband. Fantastic. The asking unlocked skills of problem solving and telling unlocked the big emotions. Exactly. Exactly. You guys are getting it. So good.